Hi there, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm Jessica.
I'm Carrie.
I'm the senior therapist on Ty's team. So I'm going to actually be teaching you today how to go through and run a new program that we've developed with Ty.
Okay.
Hi, Ty. So, as you know, he's recently been able to hold a pencil without a grip, trace basic shapes or scribbles on the page, and that sort of thing. So what we want to do is work towards getting him to trace lines, basic shapes, and then work into letters and numbers.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to run through the program with you, everything you'll need to develop the program,
Good job.
and then I'm going to get you to implement it yourself, and then we'll see how you do. So the first thing you're going to need to do is I've developed a checklist, and I have a whole bunch of samples so you can look at this yourself another time. The first thing we're going to do is read through the program and familiarize yourself with the goal of the program, all the materials you'll need, and that kind of thing. So the first thing you'll need for this is pencil, an eraser, his reinforcers, which has a little toy truck floating around, and then graph, probe sheets, and all that fun stuff. So you have all that, and then you're going to look at the teaching procedure. So the first thing you're going to do is look at the target list.
I love you so much.
So for the target list, the first thing we're going to start with him is drawing a straight line. So we'll simply just
I love you so much.
have a straight line on a piece of paper and dotted lines, and we'll present him to trace it. So the first thing that we're going to do is do it with a full physical prompt. So I'll show you what that looks like.
Okay.
So how we would start is have the pencil. Can I have this please, Ty?
Thank you.
Hold the pencil, please, and we'll say trace. And we'll take his hand and trace over the line with him. So that's what we call a full physical prompt. So we want to start all of his programs first with a full physical prompt. Once he's mastered that, we'll move to what we call a partial physical prompt. So as he's tracing, trace, then we'll just guide him by his arm. But he has to get to that point first. Then we'll do a model prompt where we would just show him how to do it. And then a verbal prompt where it would just be trace, and he'd be able to do it on his own. So those are the levels of prompts that we want to use first. And we want to make sure that he's mastered each one before he moves on to the next. So to master a target, if you were to do this right the first time, you'd circle a Y on your data probe sheet with the date. Once he gets 3 of those, you'll then move to your graph. So 3 consecutive yes answers, you put them here on your graph, the date, and you just mark a line. So that's simple enough.
Okay.
So the first thing you'll do usually is come in, find your target list, which is your straight line, go to him, see if he can do it. Once you get your response, you'll put it in your probe sheet, and then if necessary, you'll put it in your graph. Okay, so I've also developed a bunch of samples for you to look at. So if you can see, I have some that are already filled out. So this is what it would look like, and this is some of the things that he would work up to first. So normally when you introduce the procedure, you'll sit with him, you'll have his reinforcers ready, so I can go get his truck, and then I can run you through it, and then I'll get you to do it yourself. So what you're going to do first is look at your target list, and that's a straight line. Okay, so I'll just show you without him.
Okay.
So if he was sitting here with me, what you would do first is look at your target list, it's a straight line, you have your straight line. He'd be sitting here with you, you'd hold your hand over his hand and say, trace line. You'd trace the line, you would give him reinforcement within 3 seconds of him doing the correct response, which would be his toy truck, which is now gone, or a toy, yes, has his toy, and then you would move on to the next trial. While he's playing with his toy, you can then put in your information in your graphs and do all that. So maybe give him 2 minutes of free time to play, and then you'll go through and go back to the next trial.
Okay.
So, do you have any questions so far?
I don't have any so far. I think this is really straightforward from your plans.
Okay, perfect. So the next thing that I'm going to do and go over with you, I've developed a procedural checklist. So when you're going through the program with him, then I can guide you through if you're doing anything wrong, if you would need any kind of further tips and things like that.
Okay.
So first, what I want to make sure that you're doing is that you're reading over the program itself. Make sure you're going over the target list, the probe sheet, the graphs, just to make sure everything's in check.
Okay.
After that, I'd want to make sure that you're using the proper kind of prompts. So first, the full physical prompt, and then that's the only one that we can worry about right now, since that's the first step we're working on. I also want to make sure that you're giving him praise or his reinforcer within 3 seconds of doing the correct response.
Okay.
And then I also want to make sure that you're facing him when he receives the reinforcement. And then obviously you want to sound positive, you want to sound like you're enjoying the fact that he's done this, and make sure that make sure that he's getting the fact that he's done something good and you're happy with it. And then finally, I just want to make sure that you're writing down the correct response and that you're not taking more than 1 or 2 minutes to do it.
Okay.
And that's basically it. Once you get the toy back, you can just say, my turn, take the toy back, and then move on to the next child.
Okay.
So does everything seem pretty straightforward?
I think it does.
Perfect. So if you want, I can give you all these tools, and then you can run through it quickly on your own. So there's the target. Okay. All right. So you can go ahead, and then I'll just track your progress.
Hi, Ty. We're going to work on making a line.
That's me?
Yeah, I'm going to put this over here. Can you hold this for me?
No way.
Do you want to do it with this pen then?
No, I don't know.
Okay. So I would take his hand and put my hand over his and prompt him to say, trace the line. Get him to do it.
Yeah.
And then, good job, that's great. Here's your toy. Then I would go to my data sheet. And I would circle the yes.
Yep.
And then, if I still have time, then document it on the graph.
Yes.
And then we would move on to
So
the next
basically,
one.
everything you did was correct. You read over everything first, which is great, and then you used the right kind of prompt, and you knew you would use a physical prompt, which is wonderful. You said you would give him praise, you would give him the toy, so that was awesome. You scored a yes for that as well, and you would obviously be facing the child, so that's great. You also knew how to go through the data sheet, so that's wonderful as well. So overall, I think you did a really great job. So I think that from here we could follow maybe 2 weeks time once you're done working through the program with him. We can schedule another time, go over it if you have any questions. And other than that, yeah, I think it was great. Do you have any questions at all?
Just if I could have your contact information in case I do have questions.
Oh, okay, perfect. So I'll write it down for you here. So if you do have any questions at all, you can contact me at this number. I also have a training package for you with all of the samples. If you do have any questions at all, you can read through this, and I should have some visuals for you. I have some examples that I've already filled out, and I have obviously my phone number if you need to contact me.
Perfect. That
Okay.
is great.
Perfect. Well, it was nice meeting with you, and I'll be seeing you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Which has time. Have to be quiet. Ty, we're gonna be going over how to. I wonder if I could put it somewhere else. And he does it right the first time. You're gonna circle yes on the data sheet.
I'm always over. I can't see you. I see you.
I don't know if I should just try and do this another time.
I see you.
Thanks, Ty.
Okay, see, this doesn't work if you have a client.
No, it doesn't at all.